Gavin Newsom, after President Trump said in the noon hour in the Oval Office that he called him yesterday or the other day, Gavin Newsom tweeted the following. He said, quote, "There was no call, not even a voicemail. Americans should be alarmed that a president deploying Marines on our streets doesn't even know who he's talking to." Well, President Trump contacted me from Air Force One on his way to Fort Bragg, North Carolina, where he'll be in just a little while. He said the first call to Gavin Newsom was not picked up. The second call Gavin picked up. We spoke for 16 minutes. I told him to essentially, quote, and this is quoting the president, "get his ass in gear and stop the riots, which were out of control more than anything else. This shows what a liar he is. Said I never called." So here is the evidence. And here is the call log that the president sent me from his phone. This was June the 7th. Now, granted, this was on Saturday. But look, there's 1:22 o'clock in the morning, which would have been 10 o'clock at night, 10:22 at night, California time. There was an outgoing call for 4 seconds. And then there was an outgoing call for 16 minutes. So that from the president, which says is proof that he spoke to Gavin Newsom early in the morning, our time, late at night, Friday night, would have been June 6th, I guess, in Los Angeles. So, Governor, over to you for the response. I was just going to say, that's next, right? We're waiting to see what if Governor Newsom has a response to the president's. Essentially, what he has there is the receipt for what he says is the call that was made. It's all about the
long conversation. Yeah, exactly. In a 16-minute conversation. As you mentioned, as things were heating up is the timing of that call, as things were really just beginning to get started. So it'll be interesting to see where this goes.
Gavin Newsom lying about having a phone conversation with President Donald Trump about the protests over ICE raids in L.A. is the weirdest twist in this story. First of all, why would you lie about having a conversation with the president of the United States? Most people lie about getting a phone call from the president, and then the president has to say, "I never called that guy." Here's an opportunity where Gavin Newsom can say, "Yeah, I actually did get a call from the president of the United States," but instead he's denying it. Like it's that campaign manager's wife that he slept with years ago.
Everything you've heard and read is true. And I am deeply sorry about that. I've hurt someone I care deeply about, Alex Turk, his friends and family. And that is something that I have to live with and something that I am deeply sorry for.
We know that Gavin Newsom is a serial liar, but also he's kind of an idiot. Doesn't he know how technology works? If Donald Trump calls you from a cell phone, from his iPhone, from, I don't know, I guess even one of those Androids. I don't use Android myself, but I'm pretty sure they have the same capability. You have a record of who was called, what happened, if they answered, and if they did answer, how long you spoke. If they didn't answer, and it goes to voicemail, I'm pretty sure there's some record of that as well. And if Donald Trump didn't call you from his personal cell phone, if he was calling you from the landline at the Oval Office, I'm pretty sure every single one of those phone calls is logged as well. I'm almost certain that every time the president of the United States speaks to anybody, the White House operator has a clear record of it. So why did Gavin Newsom lie about the phone call? Well, I'm pretty sure we know why Gavin Newsom lied about the phone call, because President Donald Trump told him to get his hiney in gear.
Called him up to tell him, got to do a better job. He's doing a bad job.
Probably used some other salty language. It wasn't one of those phone calls where the president of the United States was reaching out to the governor of California to see if he needed any help. It wasn't one of those friendly phone calls where the president of the United States was reaching out to the governor of California to say, "You're doing a good job, keep it up." It was one of those phone calls you get from, I don't know, your parents or your boss or somebody who clearly you are intimidated by, and it is in a much higher position of power and authority than you are, telling you that you're grossly incompetent, that you are destroying your entire city, that you're an embarrassment, that you're the worst. I mean, there's tons of names I'm sure Donald Trump could have told him, but for 16 minutes, Donald Trump literally sat on the phone and I'm sure excoriated Gavin Newsom. And we all know that he can do it. I've heard Donald Trump. 16 minutes to Donald Trump, that's nothing. Donald Trump can go on for 16 minutes about any topic. You can ask Donald Trump one question, you're going to get at least a 16-minute response out of it. And if he's talking about something as something he has as much experience with as Gavin Newsom causing LA to burn, well, that is definitely something that he could do with no problem. Gavin Newsom did something else that was kind of weird and bizarre and that I don't really understand. He attacked James Woods for posting an old video of riots and cars burning in LA. Look at this. James Woods wrote, "If I hear one more leftist shill in mainstream media utter the words peaceful protests, I'll throw up." And then he posted a video of cars burning. Gavin Newsom wrote him back and said, "This video is from 2020. But look at what this guy wrote underneath. Kevin Dalton, "Gavin Newsom wants to be clear that this video is not from 2025 when he let Los Angeles burn, but from 2020 when he let Los Angeles burn." The fact that there's multiple videos of you letting the city that you're in charge of or the state that you're in charge of burn to the ground, that doesn't really bode well for your leadership style or your leadership skills. And Donald Trump is right. You got to get your booty in gear. You got to buckle down and you got to stop the riots. Donald Trump is serious about stepping into LA for a couple of reasons. First of all, the constituents in LA are his constituents too. California is part of the United States. And while Donald Trump didn't win California, a lot of folks in California voted for him. While Donald Trump didn't win LA, a lot of people in LA voted for him. And while Donald Trump, is not a blue state governor or blue state mayor, he is the president of all states, all 50 of them. 51 if you consider Canada. And so Donald Trump is looking out for his citizens. He's looking out for the United States of America, and he's looking out for people who voted for him and didn't. Somebody has to. Gavin Newsom isn't, and Karen Bass isn't either. Also, Donald Trump mentioned something earlier today that I think a lot of people forget, is that Los Angeles is the second largest city in the country. It is a jewel of this United States of America. It's one of the largest economies, and it's an international destination. Not just is the film industry there and Disneyland and a lot of tourism, but the Olympics are going to be held there in just a few years. And Donald Trump, being president during the Olympics in Los Angeles, doesn't want it to look like an ashtray.
We have the Olympics coming, and we don't want people looking at Los Angeles like it would have been. He
doesn't want graffiti everywhere and riots. He doesn't want police getting shot at with mortars or people throwing bricks at each other when the entire world has their eyes on Los Angeles, California. You're going to have athletes and dignitaries and visitors and tourists and merchants and people from all over the world not only watching Los Angeles, but being there, living there for months. These athletes are there for a very long time. And Los Angeles is supposed to be this crown jewel that was selected by the Olympic Committee to host these games. Donald Trump is going to do everything he can to make sure that when people arrive in Los Angeles, California, when they arrive in the United States of America for the Olympics, they are going to be treated to one of the best Olympic Games ever in a place where there's no shenanigans. There's going to be no burning or looting or rioting or any of that nonsense. He'll round everybody up, he'll throw them in jail, and he'll toss the illegals out of the country. And nobody, not even Gavin Newsom, is going to stop him. Because Donald Trump, he doesn't just get down to business. He's calling Gavin Newsom at 2 o'clock in the morning. It's 2 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast. He picks up the phone. He calls Gavin Newsom just to yell at him before he hits the hay for 4 hours so he can get up, call somebody else and yell at them. And then not only that, but he screenshots it and sends it to Fox News because he's got the receipts. He's saying, don't lie about me. I got receipts, and I'm not afraid to put them on Fox News. Could you imagine being a newscaster and Donald Trump calling you up and saying, "Hey, I'm texting you a screenshot of my call log with the governor of California because he's lying to you"? That's the most Donald Trump thing I think I've ever heard of. And I've heard of a lot of Donald Trump things.